H2O, dirt, coal, ashes, and oxygen and carbon dioxide. Long ago,
no idea what
two dudes
trying to
attempted to do a live-action adaptation of their beloved animation show. Then everything changed when Netflix decided to fuck around and find out. And only, allegedly, Albert Kamen's Co. could try to do the things to make the show work and do its best. But you know what? When the world needed him the most after the first season broke, he just decided to peace out. You know, some time's passed and we all watched the show of this Avatar Netflix adaptation. And you know what? Things are kind of wonky to the start, but you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Netflix will actually adapt this entire fucking show and it might actually turn out to be decent. Or not.
Me and Kayla are not gonna stick around to find out.
Welcome to this show of Knee Slapping K-Pop Podcast, where we are going to talk about one of the biggest adaptations that the internet has ever fucking blobbed about, and give our honest thoughts and opinions on this show, and also maybe talk about some Avatar Studios news, and maybe about Legend of Korra. We'll see how long we get to talk about Netflix Avatar. Yeah! Boom! It's your girl, Maria, and I'm here with editor Kayla.
Hello.
And, Sammy, who is currently slaying, a sickness right now. She's killing it.
Hello.
Literally.
Slaying a sickness.
It is the pollen, it is the allergies, the earth wants to kill me.
Yes.
It's awful.
If you couldn't tell by the whatever impromptu bullshit I just spewed out of my mouth, we're talking about
really
Netflix
our
Avatar
intros
the Last Airbender, aka Natla. Some could say it's not original Avatar the Last Airbender Netflix, but you know what? We'll just go with what we got.
It is what it is.
It is. It's quite something, is what it is.
I think we need to get into some background here.
Yes, let's talk.
I mean, look, I don't think we need to get into the background of all of us have seen the original Avatar.
Shocker.
We've made multiple videos on it, etc., etc.
Some of the earliest episodes of this podcast is me and Kayla talking about
I know, it's
Avatar.
really kind of crazy how early of an episode of the podcast
It's a very early episode.
And we even talked about early Natla Avatar news in that podcast. Oh my goodness, so much has happened since then.
I know, it's crazy.
But can we talk, I think we need to talk about, one, why is this video going to come out in, like, May? That show came out, like, 3 months ago.
Right.
What are you people doing?
Leave us alone,
Fair.
please.
And the answer is, Maria watched the whole thing by the time I woke up in the morning after it came out.
Maria
I
watched
had
it
to.
Immediately.
The quick TLDR story is I was at my boyfriend's place, and I was just like, I'm going to spend my day off, because I only work a front shift Saturday to Wednesday situation, 10 hours each day shift. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to wake up in the morning, just get it done, watch it, consume it, let it sit with me, maybe rewatch it eventually, do that shit. And I did.
Maria,
and I wasn't sure how I felt when it ended.
By the time I woke up in the morning, I had seen you with your,
like... It was like 10 a.m. in the morning, and you had the summary of, like, here's what I think. It was 10 a.m. the day it came out.
It wasn't your day off. It was the morning
of. It was the whole day.
I woke up, like, around, I think, 3:30, and I just watched.
Good for you. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
And so then me and Kayla were like, well, we already committed to doing this episode. So we already told Maria, it's going to come out. We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then we're like, we have to watch this together. We cannot handle this on our own. And then we watched the first episode. I think we watched the first episode, we had no motivation to watch this show, right?
I think we watched one episode, and then... We
watched one episode.
My motivation was curiosity.
Yes, one episode the week it came out,
say.
And then we watched like the rest in like 2 large chunks, I think.
We did, because then I went on vacation, so I think it was a solid month later.
Yes.
That we watched the second chunk. And I think we got through episode like 2 to like 4.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. And then we finished it in like a chunk maybe a week ago.
Yes.
From when we're recording, so maybe like late April. And it was a slog.
A slog. It was real hard to get through.
We had no motive.
The longer it went on, it just kept getting worse and worse the longer it went on.
The first episode was the longest viewing experience of my life.
It felt so long.
I truly was like, is it over yet? Mm-hmm. And the answer was, it was never.
It was never over.
It was never over.
It was never over. We have maybe my.
It was the talk of the town. My God, it was.
Was it? Because I heard maybe 5 people. I heard more about.
At least on the internet, I think it was. It was a discussion. The subreddits, especially. The subreddits, especially.
I think maybe you're on different parts of the internet that I am.
That's why I said the subreddits. The subreddits for the shows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it had that much. I think it was a lot of people that were already curious about it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's super, like, because Netflix had, and a lot of people compared it to the One Piece adaptation. I think that was far more successful because I heard about it and I've never seen One Piece in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that superseded its source material. I think Avatar was only important to people that already knew Avatar and then no one else gave a shit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, here's the thing. I've seen, like, alleged people who had watched, like, the Natla show, who never saw the original cartoon. And
but what I'm saying is that they sought it out
tend to be more
favorable. Like, its reputation.
Yeah.
It didn't stand alone as its own product.
And I don't think the reputation for it
the reputation
was definitely worse than One Piece, because a lot of people were like, for One Piece was like, this is a very decent, like, representation of this anime, and everything about Avatar has just been like, bad. It's not good. Like,
oh no, I've seen I think 2 episodes of that One Piece adaptation because one of my friends was
have not seen One Piece adaptation, so I can't really.
It's actually a well done show. It is a show that is worthy of existence. Mm-hmm. It is worthy of existence and is actually. We'll get into it when we get into the issues with this show. It is a show that actually has a purpose. Mm-hmm. Because it is very difficult to get into One Piece, the anime, given that it is.
There's so much
thousands
of it. And not just the anime, the manga too as well.
But just generally, the property itself is a lot.
It's a 20. Let's put it this way: this show came out. That show came out in 1998. Like, exactly, it is 26 years old. It's a 26-year-old manga and like almost 20-something-year-old show. So, like, there's a lot to
that. But there is a purpose to this live action because it does serve as a gateway to people and to understand the story, etc., etc. It is a lot to ask of someone to go back and watch an anime from the early 2000s.
And the original creator, Oda, knows that. He's not dumb. Exactly. He knows that.
But what I'm saying is that the show has a purpose.
Yeah.
This show does not have a purpose. The show does not need to exist. It doesn't have a vision. It doesn't have.
But it did hit the streaming numbers enough for a second and a third season, apparently.
But it didn't really do. I mean, as someone who's looked at the actual streaming numbers, I don't think it did that well.
Apparently it did well. It did slightly better than apparently One Piece did. Is what they said.
But again, when you're looking at the barrier for entry to the One Piece anime, which is something that the West has not had that much interaction with, to Avatar, you'd expect it to have done better.
I think a lot of people are watching it for nostalgia and like not enjoying it.
And curiosity reasons.
It's getting it because everyone was like, I want to see how it is, but
also,
no one is thinking it's good.
Given its production value and given the amount that it, like, given what Netflix streaming numbers could be when they have a hit on their hands, it's fine.
Well, I also think the show, too, had an uphill battle because it was covering and adapting roughly, like, the first season of the show. Which, like,
and
let's
they had
be real
about
here.
The same
the first season of Avatar is, like, for the most part, not a ton of people's favorite season. Like, it's constantly between 2 and 3. It's, like, almost neck to neck 2 and 3, depending on who favors what more plotline.
Fine, but all you had to do for this is that all I'm saying is that they also probably had the easiest time because that season is entirely mostly standalone stories. All you have to do is do a couple of the standalones and get the characterization correct, and I think and then bookend it with the good opening that it is and the good finale that it has. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest season to adapt because it's mostly standalones that you can either. What they did do is interpolate them poorly. Or you can just pick the standout.
They did a real bad job trying to put in the standalone.
So I want to put a pin on that.
They did too many at the
I want to
same
put a
time.
pin on that because I think before we really go in to it,
Yes.
let's talk about probably anything we thought was positive of it. If there was anything. Was there anything you guys thought was like decent of the show?
I think the casting of Daniel Day Kim was a good idea.
Daniel Day Kim was a good idea, but I think everything else was... But I have so many more negatives about Daniel Day Kim. Not about Daniel Day Kim the man. Daniel Day Kim the man is perfect.
Casting him as the Fire Lord, that was good casting.
I think surprisingly, I actually end up liking Sokka's and Zuko's acting the most, probably, of the younger cast.
I do like Zuko.
I like Zuko.
Zuko's a little bit girly pop, and I think it's
a little girly pop, but I think it's fun.
It's a really
bizarre sassafras. I love it.
It's a really bizarre take on Zuko, but I do think it's really fun. Like,
I'm here for sassy Zuko.
Like, he's a different Zuko, but he's like it's a really interesting take on it, and I do like it.
I liked Uncle Iroh for like half the show, and then I realized he's the guy from Kim's Convenience, and then I couldn't get him out of that convenience.
I don't know. Uncle Iroh's character was interesting for me.
I think what they did with the character, I think he starts really good.
Yeah.
But I think the material given to, because that actor is a good actor. The material given to that actor is poorly written, but the material given to all these actors is poorly written.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Since we don't have much else positive to probably talk about, let's get into the big stuff sticking point. Because what you said there, Sammy. Let's talk about what I think collectively I've seen consistently, not just broadly by everyone else, but also like in the subreddits about the show and just Avatar shit in general. The one consistent problem I heard everyone talk about was writing and execution. I think is the biggest fucking problem with the show, and not just this show, a lot of shows lately, but this one especially highlights it.
Show was.
They did not.
This show is a... First and foremost, what a lot of people, I think, forget about Avatar, because a lot of people talk about Avatar from a nostalgic point of view.
Yeah.
Avatar is a children's show.
Exactly.
Avatar is a children's show, and like all children's shows, especially that first season of Avatar, it's an episodic show that is meant to teach a lesson. It is like a fucking Bible story in the beginning. It is parable after fucking parable. That is what that show was.
Yeah, because like good. Later seasons tend to be more serial in nature, I would say. I think it's safe to say. At the beginning
of that show was made for children.
It was made for reruns in particular.
It was made for reruns, and also those characters were made to appeal to children and to connect with children.
Yes.
The reason we can rewatch it now is because there's a nostalgia there. The reason adults can watch it and still enjoy it was because it's a good show. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to watch Game of Thrones and you're an adult, Avatar is not going to scratch that itch for you.
No.
The problem is that this show thought that, we can just adapt it like we adapted Game of Thrones and make it all adult.
Once the writers came out and said, we're going to make this show more like Game of Thrones, I was like, how are they possibly
going
to
do that?
Slight gripe, I want to put a pin on this slight gripe, because a lot of fantasy-esque shows compare it to Game of Thrones, and it's like, it's time to stop. Like, I hear this from books, I hear this from shows, I hear this from movies. It's like, shut the fuck up with the Game of Thrones comparison. Like, an unfinished fucking book series is not the only thing it could be compared to. Oh my god.
It's like, if they want to make something a mature fantasy, they just throw out Game of Thrones. That's all they got.
Because apparently maturity is just sex, nudity, and fucking violence the whole time. It's not
the problem is, with this show, is that they didn't know what show they were adapting.
Not at all.
Because you can't... It's impossible to make Avatar an adult show, because at its core it was not written as an adult show. You can't do it. The same way you cannot make Game of Thrones for
children. It's like, what are you trying to do here?
It's the same way that there is not enough hacking and slashing you can make to Game of Thrones, or even like certain other like adult or like Dune or like high adult fantasy and sci-fi to make it for children. Fundamentally, if you're gonna do that, you have to create an entirely new property.
Yeah.
At that point, you create the third Avatar that we've seen in this universe. You know, going from Aang to Korra to what. If you want to do that, you have to start with a brand new story.
Yeah.
because it's impossible. Like, you can't, at its core, that
it's
show
like,
is
it's at
with
no point, it's like, you've reached the point of no return after some point in time.
Because, again, I think they forgot that this show was made for children. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people view children's media as inferior. It's not. It's still good. A fantasy that's made for children and that children enjoy and that is good is... There's so much of it. Narnia, not Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all that other stuff is made for a younger audience. Mm-hmm. And it's fine. It's good.
Well, early Harry Potter, I would say, was more the younger.
Harry Potter
later Harry Potter, no.
I was saying good.
Yeah.
Also, Harry Potter, looking back, is not very well written.
It's pretty bad.
That whole world building is very poorly written.
I think it scratched an itch for a wizard school that people had.
It scratched an itch for a hot second.
Yeah.
Looking back, it was very poorly written.
Yes.
But, like, fundamentally, this show didn't know what it was. That's its beginning problem.
They completely the gross misunderstanding of every single character in this show, I think, is
again ties back to piss poor writing and execution, and that probably was possibly a big part of the factor why the original creators left. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to do something a little bit different to the show. Would it have made this show better? Who knows? Maybe it did. Maybe it would have made it worse. I don't know. But what we got is more so tied to Albert Kim and because Albert Kim was hired by the creators, though. I know that. So, like, they hired him before they bounced. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix executives got a little bit too much influence, or some other higher-ups at Netflix maybe got a little bit too much influence on who maybe don't understand story writing well and execution of that story and how to write good characters well, got their hands into the projects a little bit. I feel, looking at you also, Disney, for doing this shit, because I swear to God, I see this with every other project coming out from Disney these days, but, like, they interfere too much, and that inhibits the writers and them trying to create well-rounded characters, a well-rounded interconnecting story, and I know they want to serialize it a little bit more to make it more streamlined and stuff like that. To an extent, I understand, but you still also need to develop your characters well. And part of the thing that worked with the original show was those...
I also watched the Percy
was those filler episodes.
That Disney did.
Yeah.
And that Percy Jackson show had the same problem.
It was very boring.
Take away a lot of the character... I think that's a problem a lot with, especially... modern television, not modern television, because there's a lot of
say it modern television, because this has been a thing I've noticed a lot in a lot more recent
certain modern television, like teen modern. It's not.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying from like the 2010s and onward, because I've been noticing this a lot lately.
But adult modern television doesn't have this problem because you're allowed to be a fucking scumbag on adult modern television. On like just the rung below, where you have to be appropriate for either all audiences or for children. You're not allowed to have flaws.
No.
Because that's also the problem with the Percy Jackson show, is that they made all those kids less of brats. Well, unlike what they were in the books. And I think that that's one of the best characterizations in the book. Yes. Yeah, those kids are sometimes a little bit bratty. But that's what being a child is.
I feel like with this
every
media,
character in this is that none of these children have the flaws they had when they were... between the ages of, how old is Aang in that first season?
I think like 11.
He's like 11? He's like I think 12 or 11. I think he's 12 at least.
No, not the actor. I mean like 11 years old.
No, that's what I mean. I think he's like 12. I think he's like about 12.
11 to 6. Great. Let's say 11 to 16.
Yeah.
Which is the part of your life where you are the worst version. Where you're probably the worst version of yourself.
Yeah.
11 to 16, you're a nightmare.
Right.
No offense, 11 to 16-year-olds, but you'll get better. I promise.
But I think part of the reason too is like they're so afraid. It seems like show executives are so afraid of like some characters to have flaws that they come off as cardboard cutout pieces, and it's like the whole part of why we love certain characters is because they were flawed.
All these characters to get, be like, oh, well, these characters suck. And I'm like, yeah, they're supposed to suck.
But also, partially I blame on people not... the media literacy rates among some fans these days. It's like, holy shit. Holy shit.
Media literacy being the sharp decline there is like a whole other issue,
like,
too.
Honestly, though, I think that ties into it. Because the audience cannot tell nuance and cannot tell that characters having flaws is a good thing for character development. And depending on, of course, how the story pans out, what kind of behaviors they're exhibiting. Yeah. But if the fact that audiences can't tell that characters need character development to, like, including notable flaws or realistic flaws in some aspects to like develop as a character, improve, and get you to fall in love with them more. It's like, come on, bro. Part of that's part of that's like an overcorrection, I think, from studios too as well. And again, reaching their hand into the writing process and not letting the writers really build that kind of shit out.
Well, also, some of these writers just fucking suck.
Yeah,
that too as well.
Bad
writers
generally.
make bad shows.
I think it's I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a combination of bad writers and piss poor direction for these writers. Because you know what? At some point, there are new writers that come into the industry. They got to start somewhere. But in order for a new writer to flourish and thrive, they need good direction. If they're not getting good direction and they're getting too much studio interference, yeah, the writing's gonna be piss poor quality.
This is why we need to bring back writers' rooms.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why not everything needs to be written by two people that got put in a room and wrote an entire series of television.
Listen, unless those two people have been proven to be hit makers in the past, then I'm all for it. But otherwise, no. Otherwise,
also,
no.
Should we go through this show chronologically?
We can, if you want to. We can point out things.
I want to point out some things chronologically. Because some of these notes, I don't remember writing them. And
I think the first thing I'll put out
reading these notes, I had blacked out when we wrote them or something.
What the fuck's a fire jetpack?
It's in that.
No, they flew like a jetpack, like fire. Using their fire to fly out
because everyone can fly for no reason.
Yeah.
Why can everyone fly in this?
It's like they didn't show this until like the end of the series.
And Aang can just fly by himself too.
Why does he use his glider if he can fly like a bat? What is happening in this show?
What's the point of the glider?
Well, to be fair, Aang did kind of use airbending to kind of, not to fly, but like to like push himself off the ground here and there. Not fall,
I would
but
like to point out two things about this. Also about the acting. You know how we complimented Zuko's acting like 5 minutes ago?
I know, yeah.
I would like to downgrade that compliment because why the fuck is he pretending to be Dante Bosco?
Yes, he's doing his best Dante Bosco impression the entire time, and I find that very funny.
We had to look it up because we're like, is that just his? Did they find two people that sound like Dante Bosco?
No, he sounds nothing like that.
He sounds nothing like that when he's talking
but
in
he's
interviews.
trying so hard to do Dante Bosco, and I find that very funny, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got pressured to be like...
No, I'm sure that was definitely like a...
Because so many people...
That was a note.
I'm sure they told him to
talk about how much they love Zuko.
I mean, also,
like,
at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of people came in and auditioned with the note of Dante Bosco just sounds like be Dante Bosco. That's the pitch they took.
Yeah,
it feels like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I do want to say as a note, just for broadly for the series starting out, while the influence of other like Avatar media is all throughout this whole series, like they definitely pulled things from the Kyoshi novels. Having read the novels, they pulled quite a few like points they included from the Kyoshi novels, and like the naming of certain places like Wolf Cove and like Alcala for the Northern Water Tribe, those are actually official names. They use those in like video games, spin-off like video games and stuff like that for the series. So like that I can confirm. If it sounds kind of out of lane for things, those are actually have been in other Avatar media. And the whole thing with Karuk's knife too at the end in like episode 7 and 8, yeah, that's also from Kyoshi as well, the Kyoshi novel. So like clearly, apparently the writers and like the other major creators were apparently very big fucking fans of the Kyoshi novels. Because holy shit, you felt Kyoshi's
that they are
making
all these deep cuts, but for some reason misunderstand their main characters so much that they have written them so poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know, and then
I will tell you that though, they didn't, whether I like that or not. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but also not every Avatar fan's gonna know about those deep cuts if they haven't consumed that media. So,
if it was a better show, the problem with this show, and it's a problem I have with a lot of bad media, because you know how there's no such thing as a story that doesn't have plot holes in it. Because that's not how, like, life itself has plot holes, much less, like, a story. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever fits into, like, perfect boxes. A bad show makes you think about, oh, well, this is weird, and that's weird, and, like, everything else. I just started pointing out holes in Avatar logic. Kayla was watching with me, and I would just, like, randomly ask a question, like, well, why does this happen? And we're like, that is a plot hole. And it was, like, this show just made me think. because it didn't entertain me at any point in time.
Yeah.
That it just made me think of, like, well, why does firebending only catch things on fire sometimes?
Right.
Like, is it on purpose, or do you gotta, like, think about it? Like,
right.
And, like, what are their houses made of? Because it all looks like it's made of wood, but that seems illogical. Like, random shit like that would happen, and I'm like, huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then randomly I asked, do you remember this? Because this has been bothering me. I asked, do you think that they could bend this? We had a full conversation about a different kind of bending.
Oh, God.
And
like,
I can't
kind of
remember
bending?
what it was.
Is it lava? Because that's answered in Korra.
No. I forget.
I don't remember.
I asked if... No, my thought was, can you bend bones?
Oh, yeah.
You cannot bend bones. I think they officially said you couldn't.
Because in theory, because I'm like, in theory, it's the same principle. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, why not bones?
Right.
Because this show is so bad, I was thinking about
I
think they gave an answer to that reason, like on a podcast or something. The creators did, but
podcast answers don't count. Give me answers in text.
Yeah, I think it's just like a no. I think that's just a hard no, is my understanding.
Let me bend their bone, but I can bend their blood. That's more logical.
Apparently, there's more water and blood than there is of, like, earth and bones.
There's also more water just in your internal organs than anything else. So can I bend your stomach, too?
I mean, honestly, that probably is what's tied to blood bending. Is that there's just water in your whole body. You could probably control a lot of that.
I mean, there's no blood in your stomach unless you have...
No, but I mean, like, if your body's made up of 70% of water, that the whole idea of blood bending is probably just, like, you're able to control the body.
Do you think I could bend your spinal fluid?
You probably could. That could be how they control people.
Ugh.
It's not just blood.
And then also we had a very long conversation of, do you think theoretically the airbenders can take air out of a situation, and then would that negate
Again, they answered that in Korra. And
then we thought about it, and we're like, yeah, probably, but I can't remember Korra conversations because that show bored the shit out of me.
No, season 3 of Korra, yes. I'm not gonna. If you haven't seen Korra in a while, I'm not gonna give you spoilers. But season 3 Korra, yes.
This show just made me think of a lot of scenarios that I think would be way cooler than whatever the fuck I'm watching.
Right.
And my thought was, can I bend bones?
I remember watching through it too, just thinking, I feel like Legend of Korra would have had a better chance of being a live-action adaptation.
I do think Korra would have been way easier.
Korra probably would have been more.
Just given
the problem is that it's just not as popular as.
Well, I feel like
and also given
the setting of Korra would probably so make it easier to make than something like the original. Yeah.
And then if they made changes to the story, I probably wouldn't have mind a lot of the time.
Functioning city,
right?
And also, they wouldn't have the problem I currently have with this Avatar, which it seems like this world is populated by 35 people.
Yeah.
Total. And we know about 10 of them.
Right.
So really there ain't that many people in this world.
Lives
I
here.
know that, like, this world, even in the cartoon, depleted by war. But at the same time, there were people.
Right.
There were no people. This show felt so small.
I will say, of the episodes I somewhat liked, I would say 1 and 6 are probably arguably the best ones of the show.
1 is so difficult to get through.
I don't like 1 at all.
1 is such a slog.
Yeah, they cram a lot in 1 though too.
And they do. Explain to me one thing that I do not understand.
Yeah.
How is it a good storytelling tool to
have
start
grandma.
The show chronologically?
Yeah.
With a genocide.
Yeah.
I know I come into this with already the knowledge that the airbenders have been genocided. Genocided?
Yeah.
Sure.
Killed.
Genocided.
Completely depleted as a society.
Genocide.
That is a genocide.
Come on, Marie. Let's call
that's
in
a genocide.
these trying times.
I don't know if that's an actual word, though.
A genocide when we see it.
I don't know if it's like...
It is our moral obligation to call a genocide when we see it.
No, what I'm saying is, like, I don't know if genocide's an actual term. So, like, we know that the airbender genocide
They killed
happened.
all the airbenders.
No,
that they knew about.
Yeah.
That is a genocide.
No,
I mean, by definition.
But I don't know if genocided is an actual word.
Genocided. I'm gonna make it one now.
Okay.
They genocided all the airbenders. I come into the show before I watch the show with that knowledge.
Yeah.
Then this show does one of the only things that it brings to the table as new and shows me that happening. Okay. Fine. Aang at that point still doesn't. Aang leaves, doesn't know that. Great. We've seen that. Then Aang comes out of ice, meets Grandma. Grandma does the monologue, which I don't know why that monologue is in the show. I don't like the
Grandma monologue.
I don't like the Grandma
It's a lot
monologue.
of like, hey, look at us. Look at us.
See, we did the thing. We did the
thing.
We didn't do the thing, but we did the thing.
Did the thing.
But they also show the intro, but without the monologue on top, and I don't like those.
And that's what I don't like them separated.
Just
like
put them together. Keep Grandma saying it. It doesn't need to be Katara. Maybe if you want Grandma to say it, make Grandma say it.
Some people will complain that she was Monto. I'm like, it's Kana. It's fucking Kana. She's not a major character in this show, anyways.
I don't care who says the monologue. I don't care. I just don't like that it's not.
I don't like that they literally just said it without any type of without needing to and the way that they presented it we're just literally sitting here looking at this woman recite a monologue is it was also done very badly.
Yeah. A monologue of things all of these people should know. Just saying. But back to it. Grandma tells Aang all the airbenders are dead. Okay, now Aang knows. Why are we still doing the thing where we're going to the airbender tribe? Because Aang at this point is not this go-lucky kid that needs to go see it. No, he's I have a mission, I have to do this. Why are we taking a detour? You already know they're dead. So you get there and you're surprised, and we go through the beat
except we've changed the story, so now it doesn't make any sense that we're doing the plot point. Yeah.
And then it still caused him to go to the Avatar state. But it's not, and we'll get to it when I go on my rants about how these three aren't actually friends.
They're not. They don't see each other at all. They spend so much time apart, actually.
They spend Aang and Zuko spend more time together in this show
writing
than the
actual three main characters.
I mean, they do at least get, Katara and Sokka to be together at
but
moments,
they're
which
siblings.
at least there's a sibling connection, which I'm happy about, but otherwise all three of them together I'm are these guys friends?
But here's the thing, as in shorthand of film, if you tell me two people are siblings, in my mind that automatically puts them at +10 friendship.
Right.
You don't need to show me their friendship. I'm already well, they're siblings. They already know each other. You have to establish to me that Aang and Sokka have some kind of connection, and Katara and Aang have some kind of connection. But they have Aang off doing a third side quest in every episode, so he doesn't. So they are only just making,
all three of them are
sibling connection a +15, and then Aang and Katara have never spoken.
And sometimes all three of them are doing separate side quests.
And
sometimes
a lot of times
we don't
all
see
three
any of them
doing
together.
Separate things. But for the most part, it just felt very. I know more about the ship politics on Zuko's boat than I do about the three of them.
We see so much useless Zuko,
ship
Iroh,
politics.
Fire Nation garbage. There's so much of that, and it is so unnecessary. It's not
just
adding
that they wanted to use Daniel Day
show.
Kim in every episode, which
we also shouldn't be bringing out Daniel Day Kim as much as we did already.
There's no reason for Daniel Day Kim to be in this season of the show. He should not be here.
No,
I think it is one of my least favorite
Azula
changes.
Also
it's an interesting choice.
I would be okay.
I mean, May and Tylee were definitely not utilized at all, and I'm
Tylee and May for sure shouldn't be here in this season.
Tylee and May seem very random because they don't even do anything.
Yeah.
That's the point. I'm why are they here then if you're not going to have them do anything?
To Azula training somewhere, or just giving me a hint of Azula. Daniel Day Kim should not be in this season,
and he's in here so much.
He's in, and it's just you've ruined this character. He is Daniel Day Kim, perfect casting.
Yes,
super good, perfect. You keep that character in the shadows for 3 seasons, and then you're oh my god, it's Daniel Day Kim?
Right.
Amazing. Now I've seen Daniel Day Kim be a semi-concerned father to Zuko. Fuck you.
No, wrong.
No! Also, they had to characterize that character so much because it has a person attached to it.
Right.
And a face. You can make a faceless character anything. That's why the Fire Lord was so interesting for 3 seasons.
I know, because we didn't see him ever.
And anything that was about him, he didn't do. It was talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You never really saw him even give Zuko his scar, because that was in shadows.
That was a flashback,
You never saw him be a parent. You never saw him give orders to Azula. You never saw him do anything. or like be at the funeral for his brother's son or whatever, or like trying to be like a concerned uncle or whatever the fuck we're talking about. But all of that was done with a shadow creature.
Yeah.
And now that you have to put that to a person, he has to have characterization, and Daniel Day Kim's a good actor. So now I'm like, well, he's less intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the fact that in that scene where him and Zuko are fighting, Zuko almost wins.
He does.
And that's fucked up.
It is fucked up. It shouldn't.
What?
Zuko's a child
How?
when he does that. There's no reason he should be doing that. Yeah.
There's no way he should even get a hit in.
Nope.
That's how it was in the cartoon. Make the badass a badass. What the fuck are we doing? We're jumping around in this show, but like, there's just things that
because we're doing
me.
this, I want to talk about the Omashu situation and that just complete Frankensteining of episodes that happens
that
in
Frankensteining
Omashu.
Of like as it went on,
4 to
more
5
plots.
episodes for some reason.
Because like at the beginning, you're like, "Oh, hi, Jet.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you doing?
Why
here?
is Jet in Omashu? Oh, here's Teo and Dad here also in Omashu.
Also, I did not know there was Jet in the beginning. I was like, wait, who the fuck is this guy? And then I'm like, wait a minute, he looks similar to the actor.
I definitely knew it was Jet. I was like, it's kind of a little bit early for Jet, but sure. And then,
feels early for Jet. And then I'm like, oh, are they just name dropping Omashu because they're not gonna go to like wherever Jet? Like I'm like, okay, fair, bring Jet. Make that the big, and I'm like, what?
And then we get into
Jet's
Omashu.
a terrorist.
Yeah, Jet's there, and then we
but,
get into Omashu.
But like,
Teo
let's be
and
real
his dad
here.
live in Omashu now.
Based on the original series, Jet was probably
too.
being a terrorist anyways, because he was gonna blow up the dam that killed the whole town.
Still, it felt more Robin Hood than just this felt pure terrorism.
Yes,
this felt pure domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
The other one felt a little more Robin Hood hijinks, but that's maybe because that show had humor.
And then along with the King Boomy also having to happen in Omashu, we also for some reason drag in the season 2 episode Secret Tunnel for no reason into season 1.
What the fuck? Also Oma and Shu are lesbians?
Question mark?
Question mark?
Maybe.
I mean,
who's to say?
Here's the thing. It doesn't hurt the whole series that that's the case, but I'm also kind of curious as to why? Yeah. Maybe because we need to have a check mark on a queer relationship, so let's do the easiest change possible. Check. I guess. I don't know. That's just a weird choice.
Also, in what world does moving Secret Tunnel to season 1, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the purpose?
So we move Secret Tunnel. And then we put Sokka and Katara down there.
Yeah.
See, it's about sibling love. It's like, are you sure?
What are we doing to that episode now?
What are you doing to that episode?
It's like, what happened to it?
Why is it here? What did you do to it?
Because they decided they decided not to cover it in the next season. They decided to get it done and over with now.
It's so confusing why it's there and why everyone lives in Omashu. Also, whatever they did with Boomy was not the correct thing to do with Boomy. Like,
I think it was at this point that I wrote that I said the thing. It was really with Boomy that I came to this conclusion, and also with Teo and his dad. Those two also have this big problem, which is that everyone in the show speaks in fortune cookies,
right? Yes.
Like, you get it with Iroh, but Iroh always kind of spoke in weird,
Iroh's
vague
like
platitudes.
wise old
like,
uncle,
fine.
so like that's what he does.
Fine.
Yeah.
It can be his quirk that he speaks in fortune cookies.
Right.
That's fine. Why is Teo's dad speaking in why is everyone speaking in vague platitudes that don't mean anything?
I don't know.
They just say things and they don't mean, they just sound vaguely deep, and then you go, huh, and then it fades to black, and then we get the next scene, and I'm like, what was that?
What was that?
Wait, what am I getting out of this conversation?
Nothing.
What did you get? What did you see? It all doesn't make any sense.
Gaining nothing from any of those conversations.
Some random things I noticed. Suki being a horn dog for Sokka right out the gate. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Suki's character is also
her name's Maria too. I'm like, okay, hi
Horribly.
Maria, how's it going?
Because they made her like so like weirdly preachy and like girl
Well,
power.
not only that, they
that
made her so one note. Actually, side comment. They made a lot of the women one note on this season. All the major female characters. They made
they also made everybody.
but the women especially.
Well,
I mean, no, there wasn't, but like, we could. Do you want to get into Katara episode 7?
Look, here's the thing. When the only main woman in your cast is Katara, who was already a little bit one note in the show.
She was definitely more than one note in the show.
In the beginning, that girl
Season 1 Katara.
Season 1
She
Katara.
had more spunk to her. She had more spunk.
Season 1 Katara.
Well, I mean, she
had a personality.
She had a personality. The live action for sure.
Yes, but you want to compare her to Aang and Sokka, that she has the character. They have a pool. She has a pond. Just saying. But when your only main female character is one girl, and most of your antagonists and side characters are men. The women always get the short end because they made any man that's not Zuko uninterested. Every single person in the show is so one note.
It does feel
that it's just
like
what
a very Zuko-centric show. It almost feels like the show is about Zuko more than anybody else.
I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, that would have been at least a perspective.
Right.
Avatar, Zuko's POV.
Because I do
That's
almost
at least
feel
a
like
perspective.
Zuko has to be either close or more screen time than Aang. Like I feel like I see so much Zuko in this show.
But if you put combination of characters, I think number 1 might still be the fact that they would just ship Sokka and Katara off together randomly. But I think in that number 2 spot, it's Aang and Zuko. They are together for episodes on episodes.
It's really confusing.
It's insane how often they're together.
Yeah. It's so confusing why they're doing it.
Also, I guess other side comments, who the fuck did the actors for UA piss off to get a wig that fucking ugly? My god.
No.
Oh my god.
That is just the state of current wigs
Jesus
on television.
Christ.
Because
they did her hair dirty.
Oh my god, it's
and also
horrible.
Well, here's
the fact
thing.
that
television
the fact that penis hair from the movie we don't talk about was superior. Yeah,
that wig was gorgeous.
It did look like a penis though on the back of her hair. I have to,
that wig is
from the front. Yes, from the back.
Was made of hair.
It was questionable.
Maria, that wig was made of hair.
That was actually hair.
That wig was definitely made of hair. Well, just check. I mean, if you want to see a very stark change in how wigs are styled. I don't often talk. Have you ever looked up Once Upon a Time?
I've never seen that show.
That wig, Once Upon a Time,
I've seen a lot of that
has
show.
One of the
off the rails.
worst transition of wigs I've ever seen. Because if you don't know that in that first season, Snow White, when she has her long hair, that's a wig, you'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never see it. But then you get into the later seasons, and if you see how they styled Elsa...
Oof.
And the Wicked Witches and all these other shit.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wiggy wigs.
And
wigs have gone progressively worse on television because they do not want to pay for human hair.
And we're getting into cosplay territory with especially with all the outfits generally, as everyone feels like they're in bad cosplay.
They're in May and
Baby's
Ty
first
Lee really
cosplay.
felt
also, I gotta say, Han being not a dick threw me off so much. I'm like, we made him nice now?
It felt very...
Han's not a dick? Yeah. Why? Not that I necessarily want to hate Han, but I'm like, how is
also,
this so
at
weird?
some point by the end of this show, we realized, one, Aang ain't done shit.
Yeah, he hasn't even waterbent the whole fucking season.
Aang ain't done shit.
He just straight up refuses to learn bending now?
Apparently.
Refuses. But also, by next season, is he just gonna magically know how to waterbend? And we're like, nah, we don't.
Apparently, they're gonna do a time skip where they show training and blah,
well, they're
blah,
gonna
blah.
have
Yeah,
to.
but apparently the idea is they're gonna stay there for a while. He's gonna train
there.
Well,
that's bad writing on their part if they have to put all their development in a time skip.
Exactly, all the character development in one time skip. This show, I mean, I'm not watching any of the next seasons. We're not doing podcasts on them. I'm putting my foot down, and I think I already talked to Kayla about it, and she also agrees.
I cannot. I
think I will watch it just out of pure curiosity, because at this point, I'm just curious to see how it ends up.
Great.
But I'm not expecting it to be good. I'll be honest.
No.
Yeah.
And then I watch shit that's bad all the time.
I don't try to actively go out and watch bad shit, but I think because I've watched the OG shows so long ago, back in the day, I just want to I almost want to see it all play out just for curiosity's sake, to be like, okay, how the fuck is Netflix?
Why do you think I'm on season 20 of Grey's Anatomy? What do you think I do with my life? I want to see how this shit ends. It'll end after I die. That's
it'll
for
end
sure. But,
at some point, maybe.
Also, there's a Koizilla. There was a Koizilla.
At least in the at the heat death of the universe, Grey's Anatomy will end.
Yes.
God.
Just saying.
I don't think any of the show really understood what it should have been doing. Like, there were so many failures at every moment.
Kayla, at some point while we were watching the show, I said, I could be watching Grey's
Fair
Anatomy
enough.
right now.
Yeah.
I could be watching paint dry right now.
Be watching Bob Ross paint.
We were doing anything.
Literally anything else other than this.
And at some point, you're like, yeah, we could be. And we're here.
And we're here doing this instead.
And then we had Godzilla.
Yeah.
I like Godzilla.
And then Godzilla appeared in front of us.
And then I was like, we could be watching Godzilla -1. Better show, better movie.
I do want to see that movie at some point. Godzilla -1.
It's a good movie.
A lot of people I don't like that one.
It's a good movie. I like Shin Godzilla, I think, a little bit more for story purposes, but I think that one looks beautiful. And also, now Godzilla is an Oscar-winning film franchise.
Woo! But anyways,
see what happens when you talk about this show? We go on tangents for
although if we do want to go on a tangent that's relevant,
this is what we did every time.
Assuming we're done.
That show. I was on TikTok the entire
Assuming
time.
we're done talking about Natla, unless you guys have anything else you want to say about it, we can move on to some other stuff.
Okay, what are my final thoughts on Natla? I hate it. I didn't like it.
Yep.
These kids, it's very hard to find good child actors, and most good child actors have been taken to, like, prestige drama.
And let's be honest, this is the who they casted from was a much smaller pool that they were casting from, so it's harder to get very prestigious actors from that smaller pool.
And it's also very difficult to get
that
good
too,
actors,
especially when they're kids. It's hard.
These actors are, say it with me now, bad. It's unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Maybe they'll get better. Probably.
No, because they're gonna continue to be given bad direction. And
if they're gonna get better, they have to get.
There's gonna be no room. I
think the last note I'm gonna say on this, unless you want to finish up your thought first, Kayla.
I just had to say that because I didn't want to feel like I was bullied.
Here's the thing, though: the showrunners and adult actors have been reported at the premiere to say they want reviewers and other people to be honest in the reviews and to give them critiques that they all apparently want to improve. So my improvement thing to you, Netflix, if you ever happen to watch this, and show writers and whoever, you want to improve your show
3 months after the show came out, and
fucking
you're probably already
characterization, because they're greenlit for 2 other seasons, unless Netflix decides to cancel one of them at some point. You need to invest in your writing. Period. Point blank. Improve your writing. Take time with that script. Hash out your characters. Figure out how the story's gonna flow, and then we'll talk from there. We'll talk from there, but that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do.
We already have a blueprint.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk as in like the creators will talk, but you know.
Maybe we should scrap it and go home, man. It doesn't need to happen.
That's what we probably should have done.
To make a season.
We should have just given up.
That's my thought. Hey, hi Netflix. Hi, it's my turn. You know, you're already bleeding money.
The whole industry is bleeding money. Hollywood's like a fucking on fire at this point.
You don't need to do this. Just say no.
You don't have to do it.
You don't have to do this. You can just say no.
If that's how you want to spend your money, Netflix, go ahead.
It could be
go
done,
ahead, man.
It could be done.
All right.
Maybe honestly, start making the Bridgerton seasons faster. That's
talk
what
to
you
Shonda
should use
Rhimes.
this money for. Give all that money to Bridgerton.
Honestly, might as well.
Give all that money to Bridgerton. Give all that money to what else we got? Maybe give that money to what else is on.
Well, definitely giving it to Stranger Things. That's for sure.
Give it to them.
Yeah.
Make Exo Kitty faster.
Yeah.
Season 2. That was a better show. That was a bad show, but a better show.
Yep.
Maybe get Mike Flanagan back. Give him to do a couple more seasons. We already got Fall of the House of Usher. We got Haunting of Bly Manor. Give him more time.
Give him other stuff to do, yeah.
Give him other shit to do. Hey, Baby Reindeer just came out. Give that guy more money. Don't give this money. Don't make more Avatar.
You don't have
it's
to.
It's done.
Nothing
you
is
don't
forcing
have
you
to do this. invest in more K-dramas at that point. I would rather more bad Netflix K-dramas than another season. Because it'll
probably be cheaper, to be fair. Besides that weird chicken nugget one where she's a chicken nugget.
You could probably make, like, 5 K-dramas with the budget of, like, 1 episode of this shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do that. Diversify your portfolio. Maybe go to other countries. Get some Thai dramas in there.
Yeah, you know.
Stop doing this.
You already did great with Wednesday. Maybe do a prequel with the kid from the Munsters.
They're definitely doing a Wednesday season 2.
There is, but I'm saying now that we already have Wednesday season 2, Wednesday worked.
They also had to fire one of the main characters of Wednesday.
It's fine.
Over alleged stuff that apparently didn't happen. It was all fabricated. My God.
Knows?
Allegedly it was fabricated.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Do like 8 documentaries. Netflix, there's so much good this money could be done with. It doesn't need to be this show. Okay, now my rant is over.
Yes.
And then I guess to touch on some other Avatar related stuff, I know, big elephant in the room, we never did a Korra episode because I forgot to rewatch that show. And also, I think my sentiments on Korra echo a lot of people's sentiments where it's like, overall, the show was kind of a mess, but also they only originally planned for 1 season. And, like, that 1 season by itself is solid. Season 2, I don't know what the fuck they were drinking when doing that season. Even, a lot of the plot points in that season just irate the fuck out of me. And the implications in future Avatar-related projects, especially with the whole, you know, like, dark Avatar, like, dark spirit Avatar and all that shit. I'm just like, why did we go do that? Why did we handle that storyline the way we did? They wanted to pack so much lore, because I understand, because they didn't know they were going to get 3 and 4. But, like, still, it's like, we could have done that differently. Did we have to lore dump like that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. 3 and 4, I mean, I fucking love 3. 3 is not without its flaws, but I
hate season 4. I can't.
Season 4 is just such a letdown compared to 3.
I think I stopped watching halfway through 3. Might have been where I stopped, and then I only heard bad things about 4.
4,
I feel like we've completely misunderstood what the show is. When we're fighting giant Gundams, essentially, at the end of the show.
And I have a feeling we're probably going to revisit those Gundams at some point again. Not that kind of Gundam, but we're probably going to get a Gundam in the new show, most likely. Because now that we introduced that...
Hey, Netflix, you want to make a good... Hey, Netflix, you want to make a show instead of Avatar? Make a Gundam show.
Honestly?
Think about it.
Honestly.
You can have that.
I mean, it is kind of funny, though, because it seems like we are getting closer and closer.
Them to leave Avatar alone. Go mess up Gundam. I don't care about the Gundam freaks. They can go cry in their corner.
But yeah, no, honestly, I do recommend, Sam, that you finish out season 3, because I love season 3. Season 3, I think, is still high up there.
I really like season 1 and season 3.
Like, honestly, Sammy, it's worth it for you to watch season 3, in my opinion. The way it ends is so fucking dark.
Wait, do you think, if I start watching season 3 in my old age, do you think I would need to watch season 1 and 2 again? Because that seems like so much work.
Season 2, definitely not. Season 1, maybe, just to
or at least a recap of season 1. Just recap season 1.
You can definitely skip all of season 2.
The only thing you need to know about 2...
Because I remember I was already out.
There's like a couple tidbits that you only really need to know about 2 that you could just read, honestly. There's a couple to, like, understand what it states at.
I think the only long-lasting implication of season 2 is that, like, Bullet has an like, stalker girlfriend that sometimes
that's Korra's cousin.
Hey.
Yeah, Korra's cousin.
One of her crazy cousins.
I think that's the only one. And it's like, it's a side plot anyway, so it's not like that's important, but that is, I think, one of the, like, overarching,
Varric is introduced in the story in season 2, so, like, he comes up.
I forgot about Varric,
Maybe when I finish my rewatch.
And then there's the whole, like, because of the fact that the Dark Avatar existed and Korra defeated him, and then, like, I think left the portals open. There's now some portal shenanigans.
Yes, all that other shit.
There's some lore implications,
I can watch a recap.
Yeah, just do a recap video, honestly, for 2. And probably 1. You could honestly probably do one for 1. But, like, honestly, watch season 3. Because season 3 is actually solid.
Yeah, but then anytime I think about rewatching Korra, I just think about the fact that I'd rather just rewatch real Avatar.
Fair enough.
And by that I mean, like, Aang Avatar.
Right.
And then I'm like, yeah, So why would I waste my... You know, that's the kind of thing when you have these kind of shows, I'm like, why would I watch the less good version?
I really liked season 3 of Korra, though. I think it's comparable to, like, 2 and 3.
I have to finish it eventually.
Yeah, I think it's worth it, honestly. I think it's worth it. Especially that ending of the season. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. I mean, I'm not gonna go into spoilers.
Let me finish with my gay firefighters first, and then
Fair
I'll
enough.
work on it.
Moving on from that, I don't think we have much to talk about the comics and the book stuff, and probably the video game stuff out of hand. I know the one for the Switch they released was piss bad. Forget about that. I will say the Kyoshi books, solid stories. There's only 2 of them. It's a duology. They also have done some a Yanshin duology, and they're gonna do, I think, most likely a Roku duology. I could tell you the Kyoshi novels actually get pretty dark at points. They actually use bending in ways that legit kill people.
I've heard very good things about the Kyoshi novels. Yeah. I have the second one that I bought by accident one day, and so I haven't read it yet because I do not own the first one.
I will say the Kyoshi novels.
The first one for yourself.
Yeah.
I was supposed to, and then I bought the second one by accident. So now I have the second book, but I don't have the first book.
The comics overall are hit and miss for me, but, like, honestly, the Kyoshi novels are actually pretty solid, I think. I think it's worth to check out the Kyoshi novels, at least, story-wise. And then let's actually get into Avatar Studios, because, when we recorded, Kayla, Avatar Studios definitely wasn't a thing yet. And they announced that, like, about roughly a month after the creators were officially publicly told that they left the series, or that they said they told the public that they left. So, like, Avatar Studios is a thing. They haven't released anything yet. They recently announced that they're going to delay the first Aang Team Avatar / Aang movie to early 2026. Not that big of a move. Some people were freaking out, but, like, it's not that big of a month change. It's a couple months later. They did announce casting, though. Is it Dave Bautista? David Bautista?
Dave Bautista,
he's probably the most notable and probably the one most people recognize. Although, the craziest thing for us being K-pop fans, Eric fucking Nam. What the fuck? Why are you here?
I saw that, I was like, what the fuck
and
is
people are like,
right
we don't really know him, but it seems like a lot of K-pop fans do. Yes, After School Club. Added on After School Club, motherfucker.
I don't want this.
No, I saw that and I was like, this has to be a joke. Like, there's no way.
It felt very, like, let's just make a fake. It felt very AI generated.
It's like, apparently he's gonna voice Aang.
There's no way Eric Nam got his way in here.
Wow, I mean, and we all knew that freaking Dante Bosco was gonna be back as Zuko. That wasn't surprising.
I mean,
Dante Bosco,
he will be eternally Zuko until he's dead.
Given the fact that everyone else trying to play Zuko,
let's be honest here. Dante Bosco eternally sounds like a teenager when he speaks. So
he's got the same voice.
He does.
I forget. I think they announced some other actors for like Toph and Katara and Sokka. I haven't paid attention though. I think they announced them though. I'm pretty sure, but like they announced major casting like that.
Yeah.
Not anyone that I think we would know really.
No,
besides the other two.
It was the Dave Bautista. It was Eric Nam.
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista is a. It sounds like
Dave Bautista's like a new character that no one knows.
Who looks like he's gonna be the villain. He's gonna be the villain. So.
Dave Bautista getting work. Eric Nam.
And then I thought I was being pranked with Eric Nam.
So kind of impressed. I guess Dave Bautista wanting to get some voice acting creds. We'll see if he's good at it. Hopefully, but at the end of the day, he's gonna be a villain, probably just for this movie. Who knows? They could bring it back for all I know if they decide to do another adult Avatar film. But I think it's just going to be for this film, most likely. That's the main project we know about.
Given that it's basically a prequel at this point.
Yeah.
Essentially a prequel.
The only thing I know is that allegedly it's going to focus more so on Aang and Katara this film. So, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
The thing I feel about the Avatar universe, and this is really where it comes to, at this point we're at this point, I say let's call the Avatar universe any form of Avatar media, if you want to say that. So I would count Korra in this, I'd count everything. We're at this point 3 for 3 for things that I'm like, either meh to negative about, overall. Because Korra, I'm like, eh. And then the movie and the show I'm negative about.
Yeah.
And truly, I just feel like it's a lot like most franchises where I'm like, why?
Can we just like leave it alone?
I think it's honestly Paramount saw how well it did on streaming over the pandemic, and they realized.
But here's the thing: every piece of media that comes out, one, I think has less and less cultural relevance until you throw this entire franchise into
like what they're doing with Star Wars right now.
Look what happened to Star Wars. Look what happened to everything else.
Literally, everything Disney's touch has turned to shit.
Disney
brand.
Oh
my god.
But what I'm saying is that, like, that's what's essentially happening. And two, it's just like, well, even if something came out that was good, at this point, with everything else going on in the Avatar universe, it just feels like we're doing too much. It's like, let it rest for a couple of years. Why are you just... It feels like Star Wars, where I'm like, is this necessary? What are we doing? Why are we doing what? I feel like the more that comes out, the less I'm excited for each individual thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me...
I feel like the fact that Avatar Studios took so long to really manifest into something, and in the meantime, we've gotten a lot of bad quality stuff in the middle. It really is souring it, I think. And that's not their fault.
Animation takes time, so like, it was kind of like the inevitable hard part.
But at the same time, there was like nothing going on for years. And then at the same time, we're getting show and this movie and all this other
stuff. Which I'm not surprised by. They're having a studio in Australia work on the animation. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the holdup too was because of the writers and actor strike, mainly with like voice recording and writing for other shows and stuff.
Well, animation is entirely a different.
Well, animation, but they still need writers and voice actors to voice it. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if that held off some of the production, a little bit. But not just for that, not just for the film we know the most about, but just any other projects they were working on. But, I mean, I'm really cautiously optimistic, because it really depends on how much interference, a combination of multiple things. It depends on how much Nickelodeon interference we're gonna get, Paramount, Viacom, whoever, in regards of, who's gonna let them do their shit. It's gonna come down to Mike and, Brian and whatever writers they bring on to these projects to, actually write well and execute this stuff properly. Animation's gotta be top-notch, voice acting, it's a multitude of things. But I think the big thing is the involvement of Paramount, Viacom, Nickelodeon, and then how good the writing quality is gonna be. It really just comes down to that, and we'll see what happens, really. So...
Yeah. The more time passes, the less this franchise will get cautiously optimistic from me.
Right.
At this point, I'm like, it will be what it will be.
I mean, we just gotta...
I was cautiously optimistic for this show, and look what happened, and now
And now, here we are.
Now I think this franchise, for me, has gone to... It's gonna happen.
Yep.
I'm no longer excited for anything.
It's unfortunate that this is the way it is.
But I feel like that way, too, for, like, a lot of franchises, a lot of IP stuff lately. Like, honestly, it's
If
everyone is tired of this, like, just...
And the thing is, they're like this, not just the studios, so many other media entities are just milking IP so much right now, that's like...
Well, no, IP milking has
But, like,
been
especially in recent... Like, no,
Every
studios are doubling down on IP more and more, because audiences are now going to original works in theaters, so they're doubling down on IP to get people in the theaters.
Well, yeah, you have to actually... But what I'm saying, generally... is that at this point, this specific... There are franchises I'm still excited for. There are franchises I still really enjoy. This franchise in particular has at this point gotten its 3 checkpoints, and I'm at this point, okay, we're gonna put you in the box. Okay, the excitement's gone. I think this franchise specifically has in its quality destroyed its own reputation.
I don't think it's completely destroyed yet. I think for me it's gonna hold out and see what happens with Avatar Studios, really. I think I need to, like, see when that happens and judge it from there.
Oh no, at this point Avatar Studios is just it is what it is.
I mean, I think I'm probably the only one here that's still the most optimistic. But like, it's more so like, okay, I want to see what actually happens and ride this whole thing out.
But you were always the biggest Avatar fan of all of us.
Probably, but Yeah, kind of.
You still
not. You know, it's because I'm like caught because you know we saw how LOK went, and that arguably is. I mean, well, that one never was fully planned out to this extent that the original series was allowed to be planned out for 3 seasons. So I can understand why that kind of became a mess. And then the combination of Nickelodeon interference, a lot of that's Nickelodeon interference with how they wanted to tell the story. But also, like, to a point, you could argue that it's just Nickelodeon interference, where it's like, you know, they could have creatively executed the seasons better with the limited amount of episodes they had. I think that was also part of the difficulty, too, is the reducement of episodes, like, it getting aired kind of in the wrong years. Because, like, it would have probably done better had a show like that released later on in the early days of the streaming era, but it was in that weird middle point where it was like 2012 to 2014. Streaming hadn't really picked up yet. You know, they were banking on television more so still, and television's on the decline, and it's... Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly surprised they even let them finish out the series as is online through Nickelodeon website. Because at part of the way through season 3, they took it off the air completely. I still remember that going like, what the actual fuck? And they had to explain at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, that was insane,
like the creators had to explain at Comic-Con being like, the show's not canceled. They're gonna let us finish it. It's just gonna be online only. So yeah.
It was because I remember going through that.
God, that was insane.
It was crazy. Insane,
I mean,
actually.
Thank God they were released for free on Nickelodeon. I was on Nick.com because I was happy I didn't have to pay for shit just to finish that series. But still, they were lucky they were allowed to finish out that series. They were very generous in that regard to them, you know? And no doubt they're going to be under a lot of pressure to make sure this newer series, and not only that, the films too, actually are hits. Anything connected to the OG original series, that was probably going to get a good chance of being decently looked at and paid attention to.
At least the first season of stuff. I'm curious.
I know, like, I'm curious about this earthbending Avatar and the whole,
to, like, have
whatever in the future setting it's going to be. Is it going to be present day? Is it going to be more like a cyberpunk situation, like almost the original concept of the original show was? Because the original show was more cyberpunk. Like, conceptual ideas were more cyberpunk. Yeah. So it's tying back into that. It's kind of, oddly enough, it's coming full circle in a way. Even with the mecha tanks and all that jazz. So, and who knows, this new show could be more anime inspired considering the rise of anime. And you know that, Avatar the Last Airbender for kids in the West was used as a jumping off point into anime for a lot of people. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more anime, mainly probably shonen, most likely shonen nods to, this new series. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Will it be good? That's up in the air, but I mean, I hope so. I would hope. I hope, but who knows? But I'll probably still pay attention just really because curiosity is killing the cat in me at this point, so. Yeah.
Fair, honestly. Someone's gotta watch it and report back on what is going on.
Someone's gotta tell me.
It's me.
Inform the masses.
It is me.
Happening.
I'm the one
Just
who
tell us
informed
what
masses.
happened.
I mean, this show did convince me to watch more anime over the years, so...
We all keep each other up to date on different things.
We do.
I have to keep you all up to date on the Eurovision trends of this year. By the time this airs, Eurovision will be over, and I'll be sad, but maybe...
No, I'm just informing Kayla to watch new anime shows.
Baby
like the
lasagna.
one on my current profile picture.
Oh, yes, constantly.
And then me and
Drag
Maria
Race. Oh god, that's a show I need to catch up on. Jesus Christ, I haven't watched this past couple seasons.
The finale lip sync for this
really
might be one of my favorites.
Seen that finale lip sync a lot of times.
That finale lip sync is
it's really good. I've seen it a lot. It's really good.
Oh.
It's really good. It might be my because you know how there's one finale lip sync in Drag Race that is the best one?
You're talking about season 9,
right? This is the second best one.
Yeah, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure.
Season 9.
I'm just confirming what I thought it most likely was referring to.
I'm trying to remember what other one you could possibly be
you could have thrown a wild card. You could have thrown a wild card, but I just want to confirm it was season 9.
What, you think my favorite's gonna be the
Definitely
with the
not.
butterflies?
Holy shit.
Oh man, oh god.
Nasty Boys, Dead Butterfly Too Cold to Fly, Nasty Boys.
What song that was for? I think that was for the most the most ridiculous songs to put butterflies to. It was unbelievable.
They tried too hard. And tennis, the problem. They tried way too hard. Race,
but I've seen
and it
that
showed.
one. It's really rough.
It was not the my favorite was not the butterfly. So no, you know how number 1 is Sasha Velour with the petals with the wig? This is number 2 for me. And then number 3, honestly, is the one from last season, mainly just because Sasha Velour.
Yeah, I still need to watch that season.
Basically naked.
But I knew she won because I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be. Oh no, not Sasha Velour. No, it's what am I thinking? It's
not Sasha Velour.
Whoever is Colby, Sasha Colby. Colby, sorry. I'm like, oh my
Sasha
god,
Colby,
sorry. the one whose family member also was in
Sasha Colby
season
got
14.
Naked, so I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, Sasha Colby got naked on that season, and I was like, yes, great, absolutely love it. 10 out of 10. Great lip sync.
Right, now that we've gotten onto Drag Race on this podcast about Avatar the Last Airbender.
This is what watching every episode was like for me and Kayla. We just start talking about
we kept someone on track.
Anything
we
other
got
than the
somewhere,
show we were watching.
We talked about the show for a solid hour.
We did.
That's more than
enough.
we did while we were watching the show.
I guess
True,
final notes
honestly.
is I'll probably just check out for curiosity's sake on future Netflix Avatar seasons just because. Netflix, you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna still watch the shit show. I'm still gonna watch the Dumpster Fire, probably. As for what I'm hoping ends up being good, I hope to God it actually is, because we need it at this point. Anything from Avatar Studios that's coming out, I hope is done to good quality. Yeah. Also, I do want to mention alleged stuff projects that are gonna come out, allegedly. There's been rumors about a horror film, which is not shocking at all. Probably they want to do that also to expand into the whole, hey, look, Korosami's a thing. Watch them make out. Good for you guys. Cool.
Right.
The thing with horror films in the Avatar universe, I truly think it would be a poor decision. Because there is something I just don't.
Oh, it's like Korra, sorry.
A pure horror
film? A horror film in the Avatar universe would be good
Korra
as like a one-off episode special, I think.
Terrible.
I think a one-off episode special of a horror Avatar episode would be cool. Of any, whatever, maybe an anthology show within the Avatar universe that's a horror episode, sure. But as a whole movie, no. But yeah.
I think they have
to. Yeah.
No, I also
okay,
meant
Korra
film,
film, sorry.
Voice is just really, really bad right now. A Korra film, I don't think would work just because I think that character, that's a hard sell. I think that character needs like 4 episodes for you to start liking her.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the rumor of it. And I think the only other movie I know about is that there's probably going to be a Zuko film. Probably to wrap up all of his family drama, which makes sense.
That I'm into.
Wrap up the family drama.
Why not?
That would be something.
Well, I'm curious how they're going to adapt that. If they decide to cover that, how they're going to do it for film. Because it's gone through extensively in a comic. But I'm curious how they're going to adapt that. Because they also... Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
There's so many interesting things in this show, and I think the main issue that I have is why do we just keep going back to telling the same story that we already told perfectly once?
I know.
Just give me something interesting. Give me Avatar Zuko perspective.
True.
Give me something
and then I guess
else.
allegedly, assuming like the new show with the new Avatar pops up, I think that show's going to probably get its own film at some point. And then I've heard rumors of an anthology series, which I think for, like, past Avatars and any other story that takes place in an Avatar universe would be a good idea to use, honestly. Just one-off stories, random-ass Avatars, or just random-ass characters within the universe at some point and throughout history could work, honestly.
I'd be curious about the medium.
Probably a show, though. I feel like that would only work in a show.
Film, television, like...
Right.
I feel like, yes, but doing a full... That feels like such a money...
Maybe be an anthology series with that'd be shorter seasons. They maybe wouldn't be as many episodes. But
maybe. But I'm saying to do because they'd be very different settings. It feels like such a money drainer. But like I would love it in like comic settings or something because that feels
maybe. But who knows?
Just monetarily.
I mean, for me, I guess the only other thing I would love to see if they decide to do it in a universe would be some type of story. Whether it's Yanshan or whether it's a past Avatar, just focusing on, like, the interwebs of like in like probably a TV show format, like a show format most likely, or maybe even a movie format, just about how the Air Nomad society functioned in its like heyday. How the fuck did all that happen? What kind of scandals happened between the temples, if there were any? You know, like that sort of shit. I would love to see like a story centered on that. Doesn't have to involve the airbending avatar. That'd be the only thing I think I'd be interested in. And that could be an anthology episode, that could be something else. Just like, I think that'd be the most interesting thing I would want to see covered, personally. Because that was like the one that I had the biggest questions to during the original series on. So I think that'd be the thing I would most be interested in seeing. But yeah. I mean, oh yeah, there's also been rumors of a Kyoshi movie, but I think that's probably decades. Well, maybe not decades away, but that's a while away.
I feel like my other main issue with the Avatar extended universe is that literally if you've named a character in the whole pantheon of Avatar characters, it's been rumored that they've gotten a spin-off in some capacity. Movie, television, comic, whatever. And I'm like,
oh no.
Not everyone needs their own movie.
Yeah, definitely
Some
not.
people do.
I mean, at this point, the only one that makes sense is like Zuko and Kyoshi at this point for their own films.
We could give him a movie.
Yeah.
At this point, yes, because I'm like, oh, and then we're gonna do a random movie for a show we haven't made yet. And I'm like,
exactly. I don't think the film. I don't think this rumored film for this show is not going to happen till a little bit later.
Why are we announcing 8 projects? Like, I feel like that's my other main issue with Avatar Studios and why I'm not super confident, is that they've announced 80 projects and have given
But also, I think a lot
projects.
of that, too, is compounded because animation takes time
and
to make,
that's the nature of animation. I love that. But here's the thing. Then don't announce everything. Here's
the thing. I don't think they technically officially announced all those other projects. All those other projects are rumors at this point in time.
But don't start spreading.
Those are all
don't
rumors
have all
at
these
this
things
point.
going around.
Yeah. Besides like the show.
Bring everything up.
Besides like the new Avatar show and the current like Avatar Team Avatar movie, that's it. That's official that I know of.
Yeah, let it be. Give me a project first.
Yeah, they didn't announce any of these other projects. This is all just rumor mill from alleged insiders.
I still don't know if I trust you to make one.
You know, the majority of that's rumor mill shit. You know, but like the only thing that sounds to be is that we know is official for sure is the adult Aang Team Avatar movie, and then like the new Avatar show. But we don't have much details on the new Avatar show, so until that's ready to come out. So, but yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's the most we'll be able to talk about. I think at this point in time until they release more information.
My voice is starting to get lower and lower as we.
Yeah, Sammy. We need to get Sammy's voice
to talk for anymore.
I have slowly had to get closer to the mic as we kept.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah,
it's starting to hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, you did it.
I'm a trooper.
Yes.
We did it.
We did it. All right, so that has been Avatar
Netflix
the Last Airbender.
Plus.
Netflix mostly and others. Yep. So
apparently.
Netflix plus others. So we are available on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel where we post all of our videos, clip videos very sporadically, maybe not ever again. We'll see what's going on with those.
If you let me start making your clip videos, I might have some ideas.
We can do whatever we want. This is our channel, we can start posting whatever we want on there. Also, if anyone didn't hear, we said it in the Baldur's Gate episode, we are now a bi-weekly podcast.
And we're branching out from the K-pop
we'll have an episode.
aspect.
You can't expect me to sound like this every
year.
and
we're also
we might have to change the name at some point.
K-pop podcast, so
don't worry.
Just slightly
we'll
change
figure it out eventually. But yes.
Don't worry. We have to watch
Bear with us.
We have to watch Road to Kingdom 2 again.
Oh god, yeah, we do have to do that. But we'll get back to that at some point. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.